Officer Holloway, I wanted to tell Lieutenant Morrow earlier, but he was very busy. So I decided I'm going to tell you instead. I have a list of all of the motives that all of the suspects would have had to kill Professor Carlton.
Okay, but we're going to have to make this quick. Lieutenant Morrow's just wrapping up.
Okay, so when the professor was going to tell us about the things that he found in the Pharaoh Menkare's tomb in Egypt, including all of this stuff here on the stage, Miss Westbrook financed the expedition, as you found out, and was angry that her money was spent to sponsor such a licentious display like the House of Horrors exhibit. She brought her lawyer, Elvira Gray, that is spelled with an A, to protest the lecture here tonight. Miss Gray threatened to sue about half a dozen people so far. As you learned earlier, Frances Carlton, who was a professor's widow and hated him and was divorcing him because she thinks that he was romantically involved with the professor's assistant who was backstage earlier with you, taking your clothes off.
Whoa, PG!
Anyway, as you met, Nefertari and Isis Moon claimed to be aides of the Egyptian embassy and said that their gods would destroy anyone who's involved in the desecrating of the Pharaoh Menkare's tomb. I think that word's desecrating. My spelling's not too hot. Anyway, as you found out, Tony found a gun and claimed it from that woman under her seat. Jane was running the presentation when the professor was killed, and Tony was guarding the jewel.
Okay, Russ, that's pretty impressive. Actually, I think you could get a job at Cliff Notes and upsizing 600-page novels down to 30, but...
Really?
I know, you should audition. Oh.
Lieutenant Morrow's winding up his interrogation. You want me to ask you if you'll collect your guard's interview sheets?
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, I'm so sorry about your brother. He was a real nice guy. I liked him.
Thanks, dear old Dirk. At least he made the discovery of a lifetime before it was over. Menkare's treasures will stand forever as a lasting tribute to my brother's work. Hello.
Hey. Professor Carlton, I'm Betty Lang. I'm a photographer with the Sentinel.
Ah, yes, I remember you. You were with that young man who asked Lieutenant Morrow if he could interview the witnesses?
Yes, Russ Palmer. May I speak with you a moment before the others come back?
It'll be my pleasure. How can I help you, Miss Lang?
Betty, please.
Only if you'll call me Kirk.
It's a deal. The thing is, Kirk, so far my job at the Sentinel has been to take pictures they can run with Russ's stories. That was fine at the beginning. Russ is a terrific writer, even though his spelling isn't too hot. But I'm ready to move on to bigger things. I was hoping I could ask you a few questions about your relationship with your brother. The paper might run a sidebar. That's a related story about you, along with Russ's article.
Sure. What do you want to know?
You said you and Professor Carlton, the other Professor Carlton, hadn't seen each other in years. What happened? Did you have a falling out?
No. Nothing like that. Dirk and I were very close as kids. We had the same hobbies, played with the same Barbie dolls. We had the same mother, and we even grew up to pick the same careers. Even though our personalities were a little different, we had quite a lot in common. It was after we finished college that we drifted apart. As much as we loved each other, we just needed our own space. I'm sure being identical twins contributed to that. Our expeditions took us to opposite parts of the globe, and we never returned to the States at the same time.
No wonder you rarely saw each other.
Yeah, Dirk wrote me when he got married, but I was snowbound in Tibet. Couldn't get out to come to the wedding.
Well, as it turned out, the marriage was almost over.
So I gathered. Obviously, Frances turned out to be less than a loving wife.
Truly. How did you happen to come here tonight?
Dirk wrote me about his discovery of Menkare's tomb and about his first public lecture of the find tonight. I caught the next flight to America. I thought I'd just show up and surprise him. If only I'd just gotten here an hour earlier, I could have seen him while he was still alive and perhaps even prevent...
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Anything else?
Just one more question. I was wondering, are you married?
Me? No. It's hard to settle down when you're always on the go.
That's for sure.
And, what about you? I don't see a ring on your finger. Or so I assume.
Single, free as a bird, have camera, will travel.
You like to travel.
I love to travel.
You ever been to China?
No.
Miss Trice, may I speak with you a moment?
If you'll bear with us a little longer, I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done sorting through your comment sheets. Russ, you did a good job interviewing the witnesses.
And I?
Yes. You too, Betty.
Professor Carlton, could I get an interview with you before you leave?
Thanks for asking, but
I've already interviewed Professor Carlton. Russ, I can write up a sidebar to your story.
You? You're the photographer. I'm the writer.
I know, I just thought Edgar. He's our editor. Well, let me try my hand at writing a couple stories. Don't be mad, Russ. You know I'm trying to break into writing too.
It takes a lot of skills to be a writer. What qualifications do you have for the job?
I can spell.
It's Mrs. Schomer's fault!
I'm sorry, I better apologize.
Johanna, I want you to know that you can count on me to return to Egypt and complete the excavation of Menkare's tomb. It will be difficult, the memories, but it will be a lasting memorial to what Dirk and I shared.
Thank you, Elena. I know Dirk would have appreciated that.
It's the least I could do.
But, as luck would have it, Professor Carlton is almost finished at the job he's on at Kunlun. He graciously offered to do the work left on the Menkara dig. I accepted his offer immediately.
But his specialty is Chinese artifacts, the Tang Dynasty in particular, I heard him say.
excuse me? I couldn't help it over here. But when Dirk wrote me about his discovery of the tomb, he listed all he had accomplished so far and how he intended to finish the work. With his letter as a guide, I can finish the project just as he wished it would be done. If that is all right.
I suppose.
I'm sure you'll agree, Elena, that we're lucky to have someone with Professor Carlton's expertise to head the team.
Miss Newman, I was counting on your assistance. I'm sure Dirk would want you to continue working on the project.
Of course.
If you'll excuse me, I must speak to Jane. We have to prepare the paperwork authorizing you to lead the expedition.
I hope you're not upset that Dr. Vanderveer offered me the position. I wasn't trying to...
Don't worry about it, and call me Elena, please, if we're going to be working together.
I'm glad you agreed to stay with the excavation.
To be honest, I need the work. I mean, I do it for Dirk's memory, of course, but the truth is, in the field of archaeology, it's still a man's world.
What do you mean?
Think about it, Professor Carlton. Have you ever heard of an archaeological expedition headed by a woman?
I guess not.
Exactly. I have the same background, the same education, and the same abilities as a dozen male Egyptologists I could name, yet the grants that finance these major expeditions invariably go to them. Isn't it ironic that Cleopatra once ruled the entire Egyptian empire, yet no one will trust a woman to search for her tomb?
I get your point.
Sorry, I'll climb down off my soapbox. That's just a subject I get carried away on.
Hey, that's totally understandable.
I promise you this, I am going to break tradition. Someday I'll head my own expedition, and when I do, maybe I can persuade you to be my assistant. Oh, Dirk.
Kirk! Professor Carlton's name is Kirk.
Yes, Kirk. I was just remembering Dirk. You look so much like him.
Anyways, I couldn't help but overhear that you're going to be taking over the excavation of Menkare's tomb. That's major news. Let me get a photo of you.
Over here?
How about over here? You don't mind if I steal Kirk away, do you?
You could borrow him.
Miss Newman, could I get an interview with you about you and Professor Carlton's experiences together in Egypt? For the paper.
It was an honor to work with Professor Carlton.
Dr. Vanderveer, we'd like a word with you.
Yes, Mrs. Westbrook?
Elvira has informed me she believes that after tonight's horrendous events, that I have a valid reason to bring a suit against you and the museum for besmirching my good name and reputation.
Goodness gracious, Lorinda. Elvira Gray will slap a lawsuit on a total stranger faster than a clothing salesman on a commission.
That's a slander!
Is it slander to tell a skunk it stinks? I think not. As I understand the law, the comment might have been rude, but it wasn't slanderous. For something to be slanderous, it would have to be untrue, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, but...
Excuse me, may I have everyone to whom Miss Gray mentioned a lawsuit tonight to raise their hand? Counselor, I rest my case.
Please don't quarrel. I can't stand it when people quarrel.
I'm sorry, Miss Trice. Perhaps you should have gotten a job at a library. The Hamilton Museum has turned into a madhouse.
Well, it was fine until tonight. Oh dear.
I'll tell you one thing. After tonight, you won't have me to worry about. It'll be a cold day in July before I give another dime to this museum.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Lorinda. In spite of everything, your money was well spent.
Oh, you think so? So far, it's caused me terrible publicity, gotten me cursed by one of those weird foreigners, and caused me to be searched like a common thief. There's a cause for a lawsuit there somewhere.
Oh, go chase an ambulance.
Come, Lorinda, let's discuss this further.
Uh-oh, here comes trouble.
I couldn't help but overhear your little interview. If you're going to be doing an article about Dirk, don't you think a quote from his wife would be appropriate?
But you're estranged.
How about just plain strange?
I swear, I am going to kill you! I didn't mean that. It was a figure of speech. See what you made me do?
Oh, I am not responsible for your hot temper, Francis. If you're going to give Mr. Palmer a quote, why not make it a confession?
Because I didn't kill my husband.
So you say, but I find it odd that the one night you're together in the same room in months is the night that he's murdered.
There are a lot of people in this room.
Yes, but you are the only one whose name is on his life insurance policy. The only beneficiary.
How do you spell that?
Look it up!
Sorry, Elena, but I don't intend to let you or anybody else frame me for Dirk's murder. I didn't do it.
If you'll excuse me, Mr. Palmer, I have better things to be doing than to be yelled at by a hysterical Harridan.
H-A-R-R-R-R-R-R.
I just want to say that despite me and my late husband's difficulties, I think that Dirk was a brilliant man.
I can't wait to see what exciting discoveries you make when you continue the excavation of Menkara's tomb.
My little China doll. I'm looking forward to getting ready myself.
We could not help over here. You plan to continue unearthing Menkara's treasures.
That is correct, Miss Moon.
Have you learned nothing from your brother's tragic passing? Do you wish to bring doom upon your own head as well?
I'm pretty hard-headed. I'm willing to risk it.
Then you are as foolish as he. If your brother had not ignored our warning, he might still be alive.
Wait a minute. So you say the professor ignored your warning? So what you're saying is you spoke with him, that you met him before tonight?
Perhaps.
To answer your question, Lieutenant, no, we had not met. But when my sister and I heard of Professor Carlton's plans to take these relics from our country, we wrote him that it would be unwise and perhaps unsafe.
Did you sign your warnings? When Professor Carlton heard your names tonight, he didn't seem to recognize them.
No, we did not sign it.
Interesting. Now, why didn't you mention that before?
You did not ask!
Does it matter?
It might. If in fact you are involved in Dirk Carlton's death, your anonymous note would tend to indicate premeditation.
But as we told you, we are innocent.
You haven't convinced me of that yet. And many of them still have strong doubts concerning your innocence as well.
What do you mean?
As you recall, before I took you back to Dr. Vanderveer's office, I had the guards circulate among the visitors and talk to them and write down any ideas that they have that could help us. Betty helped. Tony, Officer Holloway, and myself have been running through their comment sheets right now.
Some of the people Russ and I interviewed are sure they know who the killer is.
Quite a few seem certain they can identify the murderer. And that's exactly what I'm going to give them a chance to do.
The members of the audience, how?
I'll show you. Dr. Vanderveer, can I borrow your chair, please?
Here you go.
And if you could just go stand over there. In fact, if all of you will just move back.
What are we gonna do now, Lieutenant Morrow? Play party games.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Ugh. When I call you up to the chair, you're going to sit on the chair. Then, Officer Holloway's going to read questions we got from the audience. They have a chance to accuse you face to face of cold-blooded murder. The way you answer these questions can go a long way in proving your innocence or your guilt. And of course, I can't force you to take part in these sessions. Does anyone wish to not be confronted?
How could we refuse? Then it would look as if we had something to hide.
Possibly. Would you like to go first, Dr. Vanderveer? I'm sure everyone is anxious to go home. So we're going to have to make these question periods brief. Dr. Vanderveer?
Why not? I don't have to worry about being caught in a lie.
All right, Ryan in row L, seat 16. He wants to know, are your glasses real?
Yes, of course.
How do we know they're real?
Because I can't see anything.
Can I try them on?
Let it try them on. There's no way.
Whoa! You are extremely blind. Where do you even find a store that will give you that kind of prescription? You want to try them on, boss? You should try them on.
Should I?
You should.
You know.
No, I don't really want to. Sorry.
All right.
Not in the mood, I guess. Got another question for?
Yeah, this one's anonymous. Where did you really put the lectern? Because I've been to your office, and you said you put it back there, but it's not the right way.
Who was in my office? It's my private office. It's not open to the public.
We were allowed to use your office for interrogations.
Yes, but they weren't.
Yeah, well, they're just having some doubts. I might have said something to a couple of them when they were out, like, eat some ice cream.
It's around somewhere. I'm not sure. Maybe one of you guys.
Did you not have your glasses on when you were looking for your office? Is that why you didn't realize we were in there?
Perhaps.
Got anything else for her?
That's all we got for her.
You can get out of here. Miss Westbrook, please, to the chair.
This one did not want to disclose the name, but they're sitting in row B, seat 6. They say, I understand you are on your 5th husband. Is it true that you divorced them because they beat you in Harry Potter trivia?
Nobody can beat me in Harry Potter trivia. Excuse me. I have divorced quite a few of them, yes. Yes.
For what reason?
There wasn't a question there. We know you divorced them. The question's why.
Well, I just didn't love them anymore. There were others.
Did you ever love them?
Yes, most of them.
Most of them? So there was a point where you had a husband you didn't love at all?
Yes.
Okay. Got another question for Val?
Yeah, Rachel in row B. How many other museums do you own that will benefit from this homicide?
Benefit from this homicide? None of them that would benefit from this one. I actually only own this museum.
Interesting.
You only own one museum?
Yes.
And why did you pick this museum to own?
I didn't know that it would go this far downhill, so it was a nice museum when I bought it.
How many years ago did you buy it?
I'd say about 35 years ago.
35 years. How old were you when you bought it?
About 20.
About 20. How old would she be?
30. How old would she be? About 55. 55? Ooh, I don't think that's correct.
I don't know. You look older than that. I don't think she looks 55. Do you think she looks 55?
I don't think she looks 55.
I think I look
Maybe
30.
she had some
Unless
like,
she didn't use her
plastic surgery or
moisturizer,
something?
but
Well, yes, of course. I do have money.
There's no way those wrinkles are 55. Am I
Let me
right?
see these wrinkles.
There's no way.
There's no way those wrinkles are 55.
You are so rude.
Are you lying on the chair?
No, of course not.
There's no lying on the chair.
There's no lying on the chair.
She's
No
lying on
lying,
the
no
chair.
crying. There's 2 rules.
Yes, I do know.
You can leave. Would you like me to get your cane? Please, Miss Gray, to the chair. You could walk slower if you like. She's funny. She's got a lot of jokes.
All right, Sherry in row C, seat 21. She wants to know what's in your briefcase.
Ah, my briefcase. Let's see. Ah, yes. For blocking out the haters. What else in here? Ah, yes. My sleeping mask. And, my favorite. For when the render doesn't know when to shut up. And that's it.
I saw other stuff in your briefcase there. Who asked the question?
Sherry?
Sherry, where are you?
Stand up, Sherry. Where are you?
I have no clue where Sherry is.
She's
Give me
over there.
that.
No!
Give me your
Excuse me!
briefcase.
That is my private property!
Sit in the chair. Did he say you could get off from the chair?
I didn't say you could get up
Sit
from
in
the chair. Sit down.
He's a police officer. He can
Sherry,
take whatever he
I'm
wants.
a lawyer!
Take a look, Sherry. Tell me if you see anything in there.
If you think you're going to find the jewel in there, you're quite the idiot.
I'm really sorry, but you're taking too long, Sherry.
Give me my
I have to make
bag
these
back.
question periods brief. Man,
Sherry,
I'm
I'll
not getting
see you
paid
in
by
court.
the hour here.
give it to
Gosh.
me. Give it!
There you go.
Thank you.
What else you got for her, Val?
Heather in row A, seat 20. She wants to know how much does Mrs. Westbrook pay you, and is it enough that you would murder somebody for her?
She pays me enough, but not enough to kill someone, obviously.
How much is enough to kill someone?
I do not wish to disclose that.
So you have a number in your mind. Why do you know that?
You know a number. So, like, if a guy walked up to you on the street and were like, if I give you this amount of money, you'll kill someone, and like, you have that number in your head?
No?
Totally forgot what I was going to say. You can go.
Thank you.
Val, what do you got? Actually, no, I don't know what I'm saying.
You know what? We can bring Elena up here.
Elena? Is that what you
Elena.
want?
Yep.
Elena
That's
to the
what I
chair?
want.
Elena. Hey, $10 says she's going to cry.
You know what?
Say that!
Oh my. Speaking of which, Evan in row I, seat 6, he wants to know, why do you keep crying? We get it, you're devastated, but stop crying.
Devastated!
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop crying.
Stop crying.
Always crying in the chair. Nope.
She's crying in the chair.
She's
No.
crying in the chair. What did you
You're not
just
allowed
say?
to cry in the chair.
No cry.
I'm devastated.
Why are you devastated?
Because Dirk is dead!
But did you not hear his rules? He said no crying in the chair, and here you are in the chair crying. Who do you think you are?
Elena.
Smart. Moving on. Luke in row A, seat 13. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Because anyone who thinks so is crazy and should be considered a murderer. His words, not mine.
Are you saying I'm crazy?
I don't know. Do you call a hot dog a
You
sandwich?
never answered his question.
No, it's not a sandwich. I'm not a crazy person. Why would you call me a crazy person?
Why isn't it a sandwich?
Because it's not. It's a hot dog. It doesn't even make sense. Why would it be a sandwich?
Well, then what is a hot dog?
It's a hot dog.
So a hot dog's just in his own category.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Man,
You're a crazy person.
Can we get out of the chair? I'm annoyed with her.
you annoyed with that?
I'm annoyed with her.
Thought I was the only one. You can leave. Could have walked the other way. Miss Carlton, please, to the chair. Oh my gosh.
All right, Nidra. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Row E, seat 15. What else does Francis do besides shopping?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Well, I wouldn't,
my
but
gosh.
Nedra out there would.
The answer she has in her arsenal. There's just no way to. There's nothing else you like to do besides go shopping.
I'm a dancer of sorts.
You know what? On that note,
We'll stop there.
all right. Okay.
Next question, please.
Yeah. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Who asked that question? Stand up, let me see your face.
It's the French taunters in the balcony.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what do you think it would be if they were carrying the eye of you, Ajit?
Can you repeat the question honestly? That was a stupid idiot thing you could ever.
I'm the only one that's allowed to say the questions are stupid. And that was a great question. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, the French taunters.
Loved it. She doesn't even know what to say. We're about to crack her. I could feel it. It's a little tingling I get. So are you going to answer the question?
Could you repeat it?
What was the question?
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
12
Do you have a label? Otherwise, it's incorrect.
ounces.
You got to show your work.
The velocity is 12 ounces.
You don't show your work, you don't get credit. I don't know. Any of them could have told you that answer.
Really? Then how about you ask them?
No, I don't really want to. I'm asking you.
And I told you, 12 ounces.
Ounces?
Yes?
Where did you get ounces from?
It's obvious.
No, it's actually not obvious.
Can I go? I'm getting bored.
I don't know. Can you?
May I?
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Obviously, she didn't take grammar. That's why she had to marry an archaeologist.
Yeah, probably. Probably why she's wearing the fishnet
couldn't
leggings,
She
too.
couldn't make any money for herself.
If you don't know grammar, your life just really...
Was Mrs. Schomer
not
your
very
English
good.
teacher too?
Yes.
I don't know who Miss Shoma is, but there's a lot of complaints about it tonight. And, Isis, Aman, please, to the chair.
Raul wants to know, does that wand do magic?
Oh, yes. It does many things.
Can it shoot a pencil through a head?
It could, yes. Would you like me to show you what my wand does?
Yes, please.
Okay. Where's the annoying reporter? Russ? Yes? Russ?
Do you
Come
want
here.
Would you like an interview?
Yes, an interview, yes. Watch this.
Go ahead.
See? Magic.
That was very impressive, but that's not what they asked. They asked for the pencil. I don't see a pencil there.
Is he not holding a pencil?
No, it's a pen, actually. It's a ballpoint pen.
How long does your
Uniball?
spell thing work for?
Until I take it off.
Till I take it off? Are you going to take it off, or no?
Am I?
I don't know. I can wait.
So can I?
Gosh.
You know what? Can you just take it off? We got other things to do here.
Very well. There we go.
You didn't even take it off. You probably just passed out from dehydration.
I wasn't impressed at all. Anyone could have done that.
That is not true. I'd like to see you try.
I'm interrogating you. I'm busy.
Excuses.
Got another question.
You know what? That's all we got for her.
Oh, are you a righty or a lefty?
I am right-handed. Why do you ask?
Just wondering.
For what reason?
I don't really know. You can go. Nefertari, please, to the chair.
You know what? Now we're just like transitioning. So, Katie in row H, seat 9, she wants to know this for you, Lieutenant. Did you use an egg beater to style your hair this morning?
Who asked the question?
Katie?
Katie? No, I didn't. We'll go on with the investigation here.
Yeah, Anonymous, as she is fearful for her life, or his. She wants to know, you're known for having the messiest bedroom on record. Is your plan to steal the gem and hide it in your room, knowing that no human would ever dare to enter?
I never thought of that, but that is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, don't thank me. Thank Anonymous out there.
Bye-bye. Scared? Thank you.
Okay. We're supposed to be getting information, and who was Anonymous?
Anonymous.
Now you're just giving her ideas.
Thank you.
Do you have another question for her, Val?
Yeah, Ryan in row K, seat 17. Why are you so worked up or mean to the people who question you? I was thinking the same thing, Ryan. I was thinking exactly the same thing.
I was too.
I don't
Ryan?
want people accusing me for things I didn't do.
Well, how many people have you killed?
Too many to count.
Do you have a ballpark number?
No, too many to count.
Got anything else for her?
That's all we got for her.
You can get out of here.
Good. Idiots.
And that's all of our prime suspects. But while I was out there, people kept asking me why Jane wasn't a suspect. So we'll bring her to the chair. Miss Trice, please.
Me?
To the chair. That's what he said.
But I'm not a suspect.
Well, you are now. Now sit in the chair.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, it's me? Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Sorry, I was getting used to you reading my questions. I think, who was it? Faith. Faith, I know you're out there. Thanks for the question. Why do you have a pencil in your hair?
This one?
Yes.
Well, reasons being is because Dr. Vanderveer says that I have to be prepared for anything. So I always carry around pencils just in case she tells me to do something.
Is it even sharpened?
Well, it was. No, don't touch it, please.
It doesn't. What do you plan on? You just plan on stabbing the paper until it writes something for you?
Oh, hey, that's my Sharpie. Ah. Oh, sorry.
You've touched my hand.
I'm sorry. That was my Sharpie. That was my favorite one.
Did I hit anyone? Sorry. But there was one more question that those people had. It was, where did you get your coffee cup?
Ooh, I have no idea. It was given to me for a gift on Christmas. My favorite holiday. Sorry.
Who gave it to you?
Dr. Vanderveer. Because she tells me that I kept on sleeping. So now I'm always awake.
Okay. And how can you always drink so much coffee without ever having to go pee? I mean, you haven't left the stage once yet.
I hold it.
Sounds good. You can go. You can go.
Goodbye.
Is that everyone? Did we cover all our bases? Thanks, Val, and thank you to all interrogators. I now have a pretty good idea of who killed Dirk Carlton. There's just one more thing I need before I take the suspect into custody. Will everyone please go to where they were at the time of Dirk Carlton's death? Now, Professor Carlton, I was wondering, would you be willing to stand in for your late brother? I intend to recreate the events that happened earlier tonight.
Lieutenant Morrow, be glad to do anything to help catch my brother's murderer.
Anything.
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 Good to know. Dr. Vanderveer, where was the lectern?
A little to your left. there.
Perfect, Professor. If you'll go right here. Officer Holloway, we'll watch from over here. Now, Russ, your synopsis on the suspects' relationships was incredibly thorough. I'm going to ask for your help one more time.
I'll be glad to.
Russ, I want you to read from your notes the actions of the suspects at the time of the murder and immediately following. And when Russ calls your actions out, I want you to do them.
And just what do you think this is going to prove?
Bear with me, Miss Carlton. I have a reason for doing this. Russ, begin with the lecture.
Okay, everyone was seated where they were. The professor was holding the eye of
UIGs.
Yeah. After clicking through a couple of slides, Miss Trice pushed the wrong button and plunged the room into darkness.
It was an accident.
In the darkness, all stood up and rushed to the stage. Apparently, one of them stabbed the professor.
Ow.
Miss Trice got the projector back on, and everyone sat back down. The professor stumbled around and fell, here.
Which way?
His head was facing in this direction.
The lights turned back on. Dr. Vanderveer rushed to the body and said that she thought he was dead. Betty and I rushed to the stage. After Betty snapped a couple of photos, Dr. Vanderveer asked Betty to stop taking pictures.
The publicity, you know.
Miss Newman grabbed her handkerchief and ran to the professor after I said he was dead. She held him.
I love the man. I was upset.
Ha!
Betty suggested that somebody call the police. Miss Gray volunteered.
I went to Dr. Vanderveer's office where it would be a little quieter.
Tony went to Dr. Vanderveer and asked her about the jewel that the professor was holding. Dr. Vanderveer told everyone to get away from the body, and Tony searched it. The jewel was gone. Miss Newman said that she wasn't feeling very well and asked that she could sit down in Professor Carlton's office. I told her that I knew that you would prefer that all the suspects remained at the crime scene.
Which is exactly right.
Then Miss Newman points out that Miss Gray had left.
Somebody had to call for help.
Dr. Vanderveer went to Tony and asked him to position the guards at the museum's exits. Miss Westbrook asked everyone to look under their seat for the jewel.
We must find that gem. Please, look again.
This person found a gun under their seat.
Has anyone
Tony
found
took
anything?
charge of it, and Miss Gray returns.
And I sat back down.
Miss Gray said that the medical examiner was on the way to take the body. Elena freaks again and runs to the professor.
I was very, very upset.
Mrs. Carlton rushes to the stage and confronts her and tells her to take her hands off her body. They fight.
Skip that part.
Betty snaps a couple of photos. Tony and Dr. Vanderveer break them apart.
I sat back down.
I heard police sirens. Dr. Vanderveer asked everyone to be seated. Elena puts on some more makeup. Dr. Vanderveer left to meet you and Officer Holloway. The Amoons tried to leave, but Tony stopped them. Jane came onto the stage and asked what she could do to help. Tony told her to sit over there.
I finished my makeup.
That's right. Dr. Vanderveer returned with you and Officer Holloway.
I can take over from here. There's really no need to walk through the rest. Dr. Vanderveer, if you'll take a seat by Miss Newman. Professor Carlton, if you'll just stay there a moment. In a brief, I examined the wound.
Oops.
Are you kidding me? Right now. Couldn't have held it. Then I had Officer Holloway take and search the suspects. Then Russ filled me in on the suspects' motives. Wow, if you could have experienced that, I'm telling you. Then the audience helped me ascertain that all the main suspects left their seats when the place was dark. Dr. Vanderveer offered to have the museum guards get a stretcher to remove Professor Carlton's body. When they arrived, do this for me, Miss Newman. You returned once more to the body.
I was very, 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 very upset.
Professor Carlton's body was taken to the office. You can get up now. The other prime suspects came back from the dressing rooms. Hey, I'm talking over here. Thank you. The witnesses there questioned all of you. Then, you came with me to Dr. Vanderveer's office, and I conducted my interrogation. Piecing together the information in Russ's notes, what all of you told me, and what I observed myself, I now know, without a doubt, the identity of Dirk Carlton's murderer.
This is going to be the story of my career. Don't keep us in suspense any longer, Lieutenant Morrow. Tell us, who did it?
Before I name the killer, I'll tell you how I came to my conclusion. Miss Newman, you can return to your seat. Officer Holloway, if you'll watch this exit. Tony, if you'll cover that side. When a murder is committed, I first try to establish who had a motive to do away with the victim. Thus far, we have determined that 7 of you may have had personal reasons to murder Professor Dirk Carlton. His wife, Frances Carlton, who believed he was involved in a romantic relationship with his assistant, Elena Newman, but she was in the process of divorcing. Miss Newman here, perhaps for reasons involving that relationship. Lorenda Westbrook, who felt the discovery of Mankara's tomb was exploited in a manner that embarrassed her. Elvira Gray, her lawyer, who could have gone beyond the line of duty to aid her client. The Amunts, they had the artifacts you see here, taken from their home country. And Dr. Vanderveer, the curator of the museum, which will now be world famous. In addition to all of their motives, all 7 could conceivably have the connections necessary to dispose of a valuable gem without fear of being caught. Motives? These people had no lack of motives. The next question that comes to mind is, who had an opportunity to kill the man? As we found out, they all did. I focused so strongly on the questions of motive and opportunity that it wasn't until a few minutes ago I realized I was ignoring the most important part of our little mystery: the disappearance of the jewel. What happened to the jewel? Which, if any of them, could make the eye of you Ajit vanish, and how? When I thought it through and had you recreate your moves before and right after I arrived, it all became clear.
You have deduced where the eye of your sheet to sit in?
I have. It's just a few feet away from us. Hey. Oh, can I see your fanny pack, please?
You want to see my fanny pack?
Yeah. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I think it fits you.
Nope,
No.
not gonna fit me. Wait. Oh, look at that.
How did you know?
Only you could have pulled off the magician's sleight of hand trick necessary to pull off the theft. I realized that when Miss Carlton said you had clutched her husband's body 3 times. I had you recreate your moves to see in what sequence you ran to him. That is all I needed to know.
Sleight of hand? What do you mean, Lieutenant?
Professor Carlton was holding the gem when the projector light went out. He was stabbed. He was obviously still clutching it when he fell. When Miss Newman ran to his body the first time crying, she scooped up the gem and held it in a handkerchief. It was gone when the body was searched. Realizing she was apt to be searched along with all the other suspects, she returned a second time to put the gem back. Then, after her and all the prime suspects were being searched, before the museum guards were able to take the body, she returned once more, scooping up the gem and slipping it into a fanny pack.
That's brilliant! No wonder you didn't find the jewel on the body or any of us.
Brilliant, yes, but risky. Since you, Miss Gray, as did Dr. Vanderveer, leave the museum before being searched, she knew she was safe. She could always suggest that one of you had taken the gem with you and hidden it throughout the museum.
If you've thought of that, then what makes you so sure I killed Dirk?
I wouldn't have zeroed in on you if I hadn't have overheard 2 conversations coming back from Dr. Vanderveer's office.
And what were they?
First, I heard Betty tell Kirk Carlton that she wished to branch into writing for the Sentinel, rather than remain in Rush's shadow as a photographer. That made me think how frustrating it must have been to watch Dirk take all the glory for the discovery of Menkara's tomb. You confirmed my suspicions later when you told Kirk you were determined to be the first woman to head an archaeological expedition. Then, that is when I realized why you stole the Eye of Ajit, so you could sell it through your connections and fund your own little expedition. I'm right, aren't I? You might as well admit it. Having the jewel in your possession is hard evidence that you're the murderer, or murderess, if you prefer.
You have me dead to rights, Lieutenant Morrow. Yes, I killed Dirk Carlton, and you know all the reasons why.
Envy! You murdered my brother out of envy.
I didn't plan to kill him, but all night he kept referring to my discovery, and I did this or that, as if he alone was responsible for what both of us had accomplished. Suddenly, I was overcome with this feeling of intense anger. When the projector went out, I was thinking about what Dirk had said about someone killing Menatep by putting a scorpion in his ear. I rushed toward Dirk, grabbed the pencil out of his hand, and stabbed him. I managed to get near my chair before the projector came back on. During the confusion, the idea came to me to take the Eye of Ajit. There was the jewel, the handkerchief was in my hand. It worked just as Lieutenant Morrow described it. I would have gotten away with it if you hadn't been so clever.
That's what they pay me for, Miss Newman. Elena Newman, you're under arrest for the matter of Dirk Carlton.
Before you put the handcuffs on me and read me my rights, I have one request, Lieutenant. Before the projector went out, it was displaying a slide I took of Menkara's outer sarcophagus. It is a work of incredible beauty. May I see the Pharaoh's glorious image one more time, please, Lieutenant Morrow? Give me one last look at what I sacrificed everything for.
I suppose it wouldn't hurt. Miss Trice, the projector?
It'll take a moment. Sorry.
If we could turn off the stage lights.
Any day now.
I'm sorry. It'll just be one moment. Oh. Uh-oh. Well. Oh, perfect.
You're very kind. Too soft-hearted for your own good. Nobody move, do as I say, and no one will get hurt. I've been on some dangerous expeditions, and I've become an excellent shot. Kirk, Tony, lie down with your arms outstretched. Johanna, Officer Holloway, guards, you do the same. And now, Lieutenant Morrow, it's your turn.
Shirley, you don't think you'll be able to get away with this?
Of course I do, and don't call me Shirley. As you pointed out, I'm a pretty good magician. It's time to show you my disappearing trick.
The lights! Someone turn on the lights!
Jane, are you all right?
I'm all right. The bullet hit the projector.
Smart move, Miss Newman. But not as smart as Betty Lang here. I could just picture the headlines tomorrow morning. Murderous captured, attempting to escape. Now come out with your hands up.
Even Houdini blew his final trick.
Hands behind your back.
Take her to the car.
I'm on it, boss. Move it.
I guess I won't be working with you all, Kirk. It might have been interesting.
Yeah, if I didn't turn my back on you.
Now, Dr. Vanderveer, I'm gonna leave this with you. I'm gonna need to borrow it for Miss Newman's trial.
We'll take good care of it. Tony?
Thank you for your help in apprehending Dirk Carlton's murderer. I couldn't have done it without you. Oh, one more thing. I'll take your comment sheets with me, just in case I need to call any of you as witnesses in Miss Newman's trial. See you in court.
Miss Lang, I don't know how we can ever thank you. The Hamilton Museum is forever in your debt.
Firing the flash unit was instinctive, Dr. Vanderveer. Whenever anything exciting happens, my first impulse is to grab my camera and start shooting.
Oh, Betty, my sweet little pea. Spoken like a true professional. I have no doubt you're going to become an excellent reporter someday, as well as photographer. And I predict your first big story will be your account of how you helped capture the murderess, completed with your own photos.
I hope so.
I'd like to help your new career, too. When I unearth the rest of Menkara's tomb, I plan on giving you the exclusive rights to the story worldwide.
That's wonderful.
Betty, do you think maybe that I could write the captions for the photos you take?
Sure, Russ.
Gee, thanks.
If you learn to spell Menkara.
Oh.
There is one condition to my promise, however.
What's that?
In order for you to cover the story properly, you'll need to be in Egypt with me.
I think that can be arranged.
Hey, Tracy. Lights?
Drew, how many of you guessed the right person? Who hasn't seen it already? Just give me a show of hands. Anyone? That's good. Our actors and actresses did a good job. Again, thank you to the 10 seniors. Guys are awesome, and you'll be missed. Give them a round of applause, please. If you think doing plays are rough, they are, especially when it's improv a little bit like this. And if you don't believe me, look at Pastor Taple's arm right up there. It was fine before we started this, and now it's broken. Many people, again, to say thank you to. He's up in the bridge of the Enterprise, Mr. Tracy up there, and the fine students that helped with hair and makeup, as well as Jade. I see us hiding over there. Come out, Jade. 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 Jade wants to be an actress, and this is not a good start if she wants to hide behind a curtain. Jade, come out. So there you go. Is your mother over there too? Okay, yes, she is sitting over at a spot that is very near and dear to us. When we were starting this here play, we lost someone very near and dear to us, and that was our very own Mrs. Corlett. She is now in heaven, which is the best stage ever, and we put a little tribute to her over there. And if you see some of the gals in the makeup row here have a shirt that says absolutely. Those were Mrs. Corlett's last words, because when Pastor Tom Ave asked her, do you believe in your Savior? Do you believe in Jesus? And do you believe that you will be in heaven with him? And her last words were, absolutely. Sadie Matthews. Sadie, raise your hand. She and I, we kind of came up with an idea, but I'm not good. I failed art. And she put this reality to, or this vision to reality, and made this shirt. And I believe, if it isn't going to be too emotional, Mrs. Corlett's daughter is here. Are you here this evening? Sadie will find you, and she will give you your very own shirt. So could we just give a round of applause for that family, please? I'm going to give this to you. Amber is holding the prize box, so everybody here is going to get something, either from one of our sponsors. If you look at the thank you sheet, there are so many people to thank. Just look at that sheet. And again, please, if you are one of the people that has helped in some way, shape, or form, you are deeply appreciated. We're going to exit like this. When you hear the awesome exit music, which is by my new favorite band, Vampire Weekend, goes with the theme of the show. If you want to meet and greet the actors and actresses, they're going to be going out to my right, your left, and you can go out that way. Again, as you've heard me say before, my bedtime with kids 5 and under is 8:02. So if you're like me and you're way past your bedtime, you can go out to my left or your right in that exit, and no one will think twice. We are just so happy that you are here, and say thank you again, and God's blessings to you, and we hope to see you back here again next year. All right? God bless, and exit music, please.